Hello everyone, this is Katie from Momentum Church here in Anchorage, Alaska, and today I'm going to be reading from the John 11:45 through 57, and these section of scriptures are about the plot to kill Jesus. There has been a growing frustration amongst the religious leaders, and in these cases it's the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and these folks very prided themselves in keeping up the religious law of the time. They prided themselves to keep it up in Judaism, making sure that people were walking in line of what the law had asked the people to do in order to be considered holy before the Lord. And then walks in Jesus, who came to fulfill the law, but also to make a way so that all of humanity can have an opportunity to have a relationship with the Lord. So we have this growing frustration, right, of the Pharisees and the Sadducees who are witnessing these miracles that Jesus is doing, seeing his growing following, and they are losing control of the people. And if you know anything about the Pharisees and Sadducees, that's a no-go. They pride themselves, of course, of how people looked at them and how people viewed them, right? When they walked into the room, they were regarded as holy men. They were regarded as some people of importance. And so, of course, when you have Jesus' following growing and Jesus performing miracles and lives are being changed by what Jesus is saying, they're looking at each other like, whoa, what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to our status? On top of that, they are super worried about what Rome would do at the time. Israel was under the rulership of the Roman Empire. And so they were worried if there's unrest amongst the people, if the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the other religious leaders didn't have control of the people, Rome would step in. So we have all that going on, right? And these scriptures are following after a pretty big miracle that Jesus does for his friend Lazarus. And Lazarus, who had been dead for 4 days, Jesus came and he raised him from the dead. So there were people that believed in Jesus in that very moment. After that moment, then there were people that ran to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. So this is where we're entering in John 11, starting in verse 45. Let's begin. Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what he did, believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them that Jesus had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered a council and said, "What are we to do? For this man performs many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation." But one of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all. Nor do you understand that it is better for you that one man should die for the people, not that the whole nation should perish." He did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the nation. And not for the nation only, but also to gather into one of the children of God who are scattered abroad. So from that day on, they made plans to put him to death. Jesus therefore no longer walked openly among the Jews, but went from there to the region near the wilderness to a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with the disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. They were looking for Jesus and saying to one another as they stood in the temple, "What do you think? That he will not come to the feast at all?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was, he should let them know so that they might arrest him. It's kind of like a pinnacle moment for the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the religious leaders, right? Before, Jesus was just an annoyance to them. And then he became a problem, and then a bigger problem, and a bigger problem. And it's so interesting. I think the most ironic part of the story is that these religious leaders prided themselves on knowing God, knowing the Father, being able to access God because of their many laws and rituals and things that they did in order to maintain a state of holiness. In all that studying, in all that dedication, they missed God before them. It's quite crazy. And honestly, through reading these scriptures, sometimes I just kind of wonder and I shake my head at the Pharisees, like, how did you miss him? But then I think about going back to what I talked about a couple of days ago, how when you have a perspective of what you thought the Messiah was supposed to look like, and then you see Jesus and you're just like, that's not what we've been waiting generations for. That's not what he eats with sinners. What do you mean? He's healing people on the Sabbath. These are accusations that they made of Jesus throughout his entire ministry. And so the Pharisees are like indignant, like, how can this man even possibly call himself the Son of God? But Jesus made it so clear, not only in his words, but in his actions. He confirmed over and over and over and over again that he was who he said he was. And he's doing what he said he was going to do. And he fulfilled what he said he was going to fulfill. Oftentimes, we are also faced with a choice. We see God doing something, we read his word. We have that same choice. Do we believe in him or do we not? And it's not just a matter of saying, yes, like, I agree, that's a really good thought, or yes, I agree, that's really good, I do believe that. No, believing in this sense is not just a confession of our mouth. It's a confession of our lives. See, in this instance, the Pharisees worried about losing control of the people, of their status, the fear of the Romans stepping in and taking away all that they've ever loved and lived, their livelihood, everything like that. But oftentimes, when we're saying yes to the Lord, or when we're faced with that question, whether we say yes to the Lord or not, whether it's believing in what he's saying here to do or something that he's calling you to do, we're also faced with that trepidation. Saying yes to God might seem scary at first, might seem fearful at first because it feels like you're losing control. But you're really not. You're giving your life back to the one who gave you the breath of life to begin with. You're giving your life back to the one who says in Jeremiah 29:11 that he has plan and purpose for you and that they're good. You're giving back your life to the one who knitted you in your mother's womb. You're giving your life back to the one who says that he is going to do a good work in you till the day of Jesus Christ's return. You're giving your life back to a creator who desires to have a relationship with you. We can trust him. We can trust in our God because his plan will always prevail. No matter who or what is trying to stop it, God's plan always triumphs over all of it. And we serve a good God. And in this instance, we see the very people who are taken in their own power to plan to kill Jesus fall right into the plan of God, because Jesus willingly laid his life down for us. As we wrap up this video, I just want to ask you one question that you need to ask the Lord, and is, God, is there any area in my life where I have not allowed you full access? Is there any area of your life where I have resisted due to fear of lack of control, like the Pharisees? Or just fear in general, fear, whatever, name it, whatever it may be, you know, and the Holy Spirit knows. Ask God. And I pray that you have the boldness and the courage to be able to give that to God, to be able to trust him in that area, whether it's finances, whether it's relationship, whether it's your healing, whether it's a promotion at work, whether it's a changing career, whether it's deciding whether you want to go to college or not, what do you want to do with your life, or pursuing something that God told you to do, and out of just fear what other people might think or fear of how it may look like you haven't yet. Whatever that may be, you know what that is. I pray that you do have the boldness and the courage to step or make a step of faith towards that. And so I love you all. And as we count down towards Easter, I hope that these videos continue to serve as a blessing in your lives. So until the next time, I hope you enjoyed tomorrow's video. Goodbye.